Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this NXT opinions video. We are going to dig into your thoughts, your opinions about this week's episode. And to be honest, I was expecting a bit of a mixed bag of reaction because NXT Heatwave was so well received and all of the matches received a great rating, right? You lot actually came back this time for this show with loads of good ratings. It was a real step down when it came to the in-ring offering. So Karmen against Arianna, the first match tonight, got good 93%. Tony against Lexis, Heritage Cup, good 98%. Tyson and Tyriek against Gallas, good 95%. Thea Hale against Izzi Dame, good 96%. OTM against Good Brothers, good 96%. Soul Ruca against Fallon Henley, good 96%. I mean, really, it was only when we got to that main event, and there wasn't really much of that match. It started, I thought, quite late. That getting a great 71%. Trick and Joe against Shawn and Ethan, the tag match, right? So I was looking at this thinking that it was going to get a real mixed bag reaction, but it seems like there's way more positive here, way more positive from the brief messages that I've already looked at. So let's work our way through and get the lay of the land, shall we? So Bob said it was a pretty good show. Kind of weird that Hendry said he was after NXT roster and then teamed with some guys a few weeks later. What do you think? I think that was maybe a bit strange as well. I also wonder what was the original plan for him, because we know he had been teased, so I can believe that he was there. But he ended up replacing Javon. Now, if Javon hadn't got injured, what was we going to do with Hendry? Like, what was the original plan? I mean, it's one of those, isn't it, where clearly this is why he was brought in. This was the plan. But in storyline, what was we going to do? I don't know if we'll find that out next week. Maybe he'll reveal, if he's on the show next week, what he was originally here for, and maybe that could push the story forwards. Are we even seeing him next week? I genuinely don't know. So, yeah, this TNA crossover, it's got me asking lots of questions. Joe said NXT is the coolest wrestling show right now. Jimothy says, I believe. Zishan said, I think it was great. Now, this is what you call a crossover. We had 5 from TNA to NXT and 2 from... we had 5 from TNA to NXT and 2 from NXT to TNA. I would like to see PCO, Chris Bay, Moose and his crew, Steph DeLander all show up. And then on TNA, Chase U and Wendy Chu show up. John Elite said, I enjoyed tonight. I'm glad to see Brooks back. I wouldn't mind a Briggs and Jensen tag team reunion. Cool to see Rascals reunite and Joe Hendry return tonight. Tatum and Wendy Chu as a tag team. Well, I certainly don't mind that, to be honest. I certainly don't mind Tatum and Wendy Chu. I mean, they have teased that on social media as well as on NXT. So definitely feels like a direction I think we're going in. I think we're definitely going to give it a look. Whether it's a long-term thing, I'm not sure. Tony said, dude, this might be an NXT all-timer episode. Rascals MSK reunion was so good. Tony D Lexis King match was great. Women's division cooking up a storm. And then Hendry. Professional wrestling is the best. Alex says, amazing NXT. I believe in Hendry, and I love that the Rascals showed up to stop Wesley from quitting NXT. 9.5 out of 10. I could maybe potentially be going to WWE Bad Blood PLE in October. Love the videos, Days. Love the streams. And you deserve infinity out of 10. Alex, shout out to you. Appreciate the kind words, my friends. Enjoy Bad Blood if you go. K Cool said it was great. 9.5. Getting the Rascals reunion and Hendry was great. Philly Wrestling Hub said the TNA NXT crossover needs to be a permanent thing. Boomer said the show needed more boobs. Here's Kojiko. What are we getting here? Well, that's... Thank you. Here's Batman the Savior. Said, I love the show. My favorite part was seeing Joe Hendry again in NXT. I believe in Joe Hendry. And there is Batman smiling away. Matthew says, fantastic. I do love these GIFs. And Nishi said, it was an excellent show. I can't believe two of the most popular wrestlers in the world, Trick and Joe Hendry, were tag team partners tonight. Ethan Page's heel work is off the charts too. Briggsy said, it was my first time watching NXT, and besides not really knowing too many people, I really enjoyed the show. I would give it a solid 7. I really like how fast-paced the show feels. It's a nice contrast to the main show. I really love that comment. It's lovely to hear from someone that doesn't normally watch NXT, and for them to watch this episode and go, I wasn't too sure about a load of the people or who they were, but I love the pacing and I've given it a 7. So that, I love that. Melanie said, it was awesome. 10 out of 10. I believe in Joe Hendry. Aaron said, phenomenal. Might be the best NXT week in a very long time. Ronnie said, I watched Heatwave at the weekend and I loved it, but I was really caught by the Don of NXT and I love his character and that's why I tuned in. I believe in Joe Hendry, love the final match, but my favourite part of the night was your post-show sing-along of Jiggly Boobs. It was a real highlight. Richard loved Joe Hendry being on. Alberto says, I believe, and great show overall. New to NXT, but it's been phenomenal. It's amazing how many people have, like, started watching NXT. Like, I don't know, maybe, are we getting a lot of TNA fans coming in? Like, I would say if you're new to NXT, why are you new to NXT? Like, you're not wrong to be new to NXT, but what is it that has brought you in? Is it the TNA crossover? Is it, I don't know, Trick Williams' popularity? Have you just always been curious and now is the time? Like, I'm not sure. I don't know. We are getting a lot of people saying I'm new to NXT, and I love it. And you are, it's brilliant. Welcome. Hello. I'm curious as to why now. Carter Slade said it was an all-time episode. Landon the Chosen One said it's simple, my friends, I believe. Also, I'm seeing a lot of people saying that Trick may turn heel. Ugh. Do you think this would be the right move? No. Considering how hot he is right now. Not for me. Not for me. He is so over. I mean, the only thing I would say is this is the developmental brand. So if you want to give him a run, like a heel run at the top to see what he looks like, and have him explore that, it's probably better to do it now than when he gets to the main roster. It's probably better for him to try and make a few mistakes now before he gets called up. So, yeah, okay. I mean, for that reason, I can vibe with it, but everything else screams, stick with what you've got. You've struck gold. I feel like you've struck gold with Trick and everything that Trick does. Why the hell would you keep digging? Why the hell would you now look elsewhere? Like, you've got gold right there. So unless it's a developmental thing, I would say no. Reap the reward of one of the most over people WWE has. Sam said, goated because of a Rascals reunion. Wished my boy CM Punk would be on tonight. The GOAT said it was very good. Joe Hendry carried. Love the streams. The GOAT, shout out to you. Nathan said, incredibly entertaining, mainly because of Joe Hendry. Joseph said, decent NXT. Joe Hendry is so over and the crowd never gets old. Trick is amazing as well. I'm guessing Ethan Page's first opponent is going to be Oro. It does feel that way. I'm excited for next week. Nita Nitro said it was solid. Highlights being Brooke being on my TV and the Rascals reunion. I'm going to give it a 6.5. Looking forward to where everything is heading. It's becoming a really solid show. Mr. West said, banger episode. Joe Hendry showing up again was amazing. Carl said, decent show. No rocks, no party. That's all from me today. I'm going back to signing Joe Hendry song because got it stuck in my head. Swerve said, promising. Cameron Wrestling said, I'm a big fan of Joe Hendry and Trey Miguel from the Rascals, so glad they were given that kind of spotlight. Fisticuffs said, I like the follow-up they did after Heatwave. The Rascals reunion hit hard, and I like Joe Hendry appearance. It was a 7 out of 10 episode, said Fisticuffs. Jonathan said, definitely one of the best episodes of the year. Gaming X Enigma said, this is my opinion. I believe in Joe Hendry and the pop from the crowd was amazing. I'm loving this NXT NA crossover. It was a great show. 9.5 for NXT. It was better than Raw. Jim said, amazing. I got emotional seeing the Rascals back together and also loved Joe Hendry in the main event. The crowd sucked in parts, but on a whole, NXT is once again the best wrestling show around. Jay said, this week's NXT was so amazing. HBK always cooking on a Tuesday night. Logan says, hello, Daze. Hello, Logan. Great NXT. My rating will be 8.2. I believe in Joe Hendry, and I hopefully NXT TNA show. I'm a long waiting for WWE to do it. NXT TNA Forbidden Door. NXT TNA and Marigold and Noah. Since news of partnership with Marigold and Noah, I'm hopeful Dolph Ziggler return to WWE. We could end up getting like the odd Marigold match and the odd Noah match, but we just don't know those people. I mean, you're going to have to introduce the rosters and, you know, I don't know that you can bring anyone over from Noah that's going to get like a reaction from like the NXT fan base. So you'd have to do a lot of work of introducing them if you're going to build towards a show. Definitely feels like NXT TNA is the easier show to build to, and I could definitely see that around Survivor Series time. James said, pretty good, but I did not like the Heritage Cup match. William said it was good. Mosey the Wrestling God said, this was a great NXT. I give it 8 out of 10. I loved the crowd reaction to Joe Hendry. I was surprised about the Rascals popping up. I feel like the in-ring could have been a bit better, but other than that, it was a really good show. Love you, Days. Keep up the work. Mosey the Wrestling Gods. Shout out to you, my friends. Jay Bay said, I look at NXT and then I take into consideration their budget, which is a lot lower than SmackDown Raw. So considering those factors, I believe that NXT was about a 7.75. It was a solid show. We hear that H is a good booker, but Shawn is pretty good. Harley Needs Sleep said Rascals, Joe Hendry, Ashanti, CEDRIC. Yeah, Ashanti and CEDRIC, yeah. Wesley reuniting with the Rascals. This was a solid 10 out of 10. A solid 10 out of 10. This was amazing. I hope that NXT NA thing stays permanent, says Harley Needs Sleep. Terry said, if it wasn't for the TNA guys, this would have been an average show. Joe Hendry and the Rascals really saved the show this week. Brady said, I believe in Joe Hendry. It's always amazing to see Tatum Paxley on my TV. She has a huge future. It's also interesting to see what Wendy Chu and her have cooking. Colton said, it was great. The first show I got to watch from beginning to end this week. Lol. WWE Ethan said, didn't know every wrestler, but I love seeing Joe Hendry at the end. He brought pure vibes. His song is so catchy. Any chances we see a Trick Hendry tag team run? I honestly don't know. I mean, I don't know if this was a one-off. I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing he will return, but is it going to be a case he's going to return every week? Is he back next week? I genuinely don't know. I can only imagine that Trick's going to be looking to get that belt. But I think I agree earlier that Ethan and Oro are probably on a collision course. So what do you do with Trick for a little bit? I don't know. Ratchet the Owl said Petrovic should ditch the swords. The sword has no purpose. It's cool. You can twirl a sword, but what does that have to do with anything? Same with Drew. Am I the only one that thinks this? It was a great segment though. They all nailed it, match and all. I give it 8.5 swords. Lol. No, I don't disagree with you. I felt the same when Xia Li was doing her little martial arts exhibition in the entranceway. I think it's a way of demonstrating that you've got some skills, you know, and if you can do that with a sword, then it probably means that you have got some sort of martial arts training, which means that you've got some skills that can be brought into the ring. But why not just show them when you're in the ring? Like, I don't feel like we need that. I think it's just a way of, like, making that person stand out. Like, she is the sword girl, she is the karate girl, she is the girl that's her point of difference, if you will. So I get why they do it. I'm not really a fan of it. I don't think it really gets anyone over. It's just a way, I suppose, of making them stand out. But I would imagine that she'll probably drop it at some point, because as we said, it never seems to really achieve much. Shakeem said, I thought the show was way better than Raw. I would love to see the Rascals and both shows, and I think that Trick Williams will go to the main roster and will be champion. They need to keep it up. NXT TNA working together is great for both shows. Maybe when they go to the CW network, we'll see more of this. I will give this show 8 out of 10. Sorry to make you read all of this, but you deserve it. Blame if I was you. Shakeem, shout out to you. Oh, no way. I really was. I was settled down for this being a lot longer. That's kind of why I was getting through them. I didn't, because I knew there was 54, and so I was like, okay, it's going to take a bit of time. But here we are. It was 17 minutes in. Wow. I'll try anything once. Said NXT is going to lead WWE into realms and beyonds. Jimmy said, I thought it was a great NXT. Starting to get better. Loving the TNA crossover. 9 out of 10. Great job. Streams are always a fun time. Well, I'm really pleased to hear that, buds. I'm really pleased that you had a good time. And no quoted tweets. So that's it for your opinions. I thought this show was okay, to be honest. I'm not as giddy about it as you lot. I don't have any emotional connection to TNA or the TNA Superstars because I don't watch it. So for me, seeing Joe Hendry does nothing for me. Seeing the Rascals reunite does nothing for me. Anything to do with TNA, I do like Jordynne Grace though. I do like Jordynne Grace, so seeing her was a little bit of a moment for me. So I did enjoy that one. But listen, I don't watch TNA, so for me, these are just people that I don't know, that I've heard about, but I don't know. So I think the comment that was made earlier about if it wasn't for the TNA people, this show would be average. I agree with that. Because for me, the TNA people did not improve my score. I thought the in-ring was lacking. I think that probably that main event only got as good a score as it got because there was a lot of excitement around Joe Hendry being a part of it. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, definitely CEDRIC and Ashanti coming down was quite the surprise. I don't know what else we achieved, really, to be honest. I mean, I feel like we progressed a couple of things. We know we've got Duke Hudson against Obafemi. That should be a fun match. We know that Thea's going to get an opportunity at Roxanne. I expect her to lose that, just like I expect Obafemi to destroy Duke Hudson. I think the Rascals getting back together, I'm a bit confused by that, if I'm being perfectly honest, because didn't the one guy get kicked out of NXT because there was allegations against him that he'd, like, you know, abused his partner and all this kind of stuff? I mean, clearly that dust has settled and there's clearly been some developments there, because WWE wouldn't be bringing him back if they didn't feel comfortable with it. So there's clearly some movement there, but this was a guy that was in WWE that ended up having to get let go from WWE. This was the whole reason why Wesley ended up going on his own. And yeah, I did not expect to see him back. So clearly there's been some movement, some change there. I don't know what that is. And yeah, I don't know. For me, this was a pretty average show. I get why people have gone crazy about it, though. I get why people have really enjoyed it. I get that there's a lot of people in our community that watch and enjoy TNA as well, but that's not me. So I don't know. I feel like I'm probably reflective of those people in a similar boat that watch NXT and don't watch TNA, and I think my reactions are probably in line with theirs. But if you watched it and you enjoyed it and you got that little bit more out of it because you do watch TNA, then excellent. I'm really pleased about that, and I'm pleased to hear that people enjoyed our live stream as well. So this will probably get a 6.5 from me, maybe, yeah, about that. Maybe, I don't know if I'd go lower. I mean, none of the matches I would say were bad. But I think this was just average for me. So yeah, I'm going to go 6.5. But awesome. Yeah, I hope people have enjoyed this video. I'll be interested to see if people check it out, give it a watch, see if people enjoy it. I don't know if an NXT opinion video is something we're going to do each week. I don't know if there's an appetite for that. Maybe we should do a different opinion video. I'm not sure. This is a bit of a trial. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I appreciate everyone that's left their comments and shared their thoughts. So thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.